Go ahead.
But it's a good welcome everybody to Beyond I Do. Thanks for joining us today. We got a great episode today. We've had some great past episodes, and the last one being Eric and Talia Bradley was a great episode. Given though, and I thought it was on topic because have we ever featured anyone? Well, I mean, Jermaine and Jasmine, I'd probably say that's the only couple we featured that we premaritaled with or I married. Gabe and Cynthia, but we've never had them on together, even though Gabe's cuts and stuff. So I guess Jermaine and Jasmine, but I didn't marry Jermaine and Jasmine.
You were out of town
because I was traveling. So yeah, Eric and Talia were the first couple I think we've had that I married.
Yeah.
That I could think of. Yep. And I do probably every year's different, 6 to 9 weddings a year, depending.
Well, and I was we were just talking about that with Alize in the car, and I was telling her because her aunt's getting married this year, and I was like, they were looking for venues. One ended up flopping out, and so she's getting married somewhere else. And then I was just like, why didn't you ask us? We've been to almost every venue, and we'll tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, we're definitely good recommenders, at least locally. For good.
I mean, it sounds so expensive though.
Yeah. Where was that one?
It's all different. It depends on what you're trying to prove and who you're trying to prove it to. That's what it comes down to the end of the day, because you can do somewhat affordable. I mean, I've married a couple before who I still love to this day. They don't live locally, but I married them in their backyard. In 2019 in their dad's backyard. And then a year later, because he was in school doing his master's, I think that was the story, he was doing his master's. So they wanted to finish school well and not spend a lot of money, but they also wanted to get married. So we had like maybe 15 people in the backyard. They had food in the kitchen after. I married him. He handmade this nice gazebo, if I remember correctly. And then, like a year and a half later, they got married in Temecula with like a real deal wedding. And he moved that gazebo that he built for the backyard. I think, if I'm not wrong, he brought it to Temecula, and they got married under it, if I remember right. But we've seen a million situations. I mean, we've seen people that I married that got married at the courthouse.
Where was that one location that was super dope? It was super hidden. I was trying to tell her, Alize, about it. Danielle and her husband.
Sweet Pea Ranch.
Sweet Pea Ranch.
Yeah. Where's that at?
That's by Mount Baldy. On your way up to Mount Baldy, there's a little creek. There's one. They have a barn, and then they have a venue.
It's super cute.
The owner's sweet. Yeah, she's really great. She tried hiring me. She was like, oh, nothing but old people do weddings nowadays. She's like,
that was the best wedding I've ever been to.
Yeah, my fee was my fee was different back then, but this is 8 years ago probably. And she was like, can you do 2 weddings a week for me? And then
a week.
Because I think Thursday, Friday, the majority of the time, or Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah.
In order to flip.
Well, and she does probably 10 weddings a week. But yeah, she was like, would you do 2 a week for me? She's like, what's your fee? And I was like, oh, at the time, it's more now. But at the time, I was like, oh, it's normally $500. And then she was like, normally I charge, because she like builds it in the thing, unless you get someone from outside. But she said most clients just aren't really religious. So they just say, oh yeah, if you have someone to marry us, just, have them. So she's like, normally I pay $300. And I was like, well, I really wouldn't do it for anything less. And then she was like, okay, yeah, well, I would pay you $500 twice a week. And then I was like, yeah, I just don't enjoy weddings. I'm okay. So I literally told her, because it's a lot. And so I was like, the phone calls, the lead up, everybody wants something different. Everyone has a different culture, a different heritage. I've married people that are Romanian. I've married people that were African. I've married people that are Hispanic. And, Hispanics, they grandma wants them to do this thing and mom wants them to do this thing. And, but then it's a blended family, and he or she, if she's Hispanic, they're marrying an African, and in his culture, so it's like, as a pastor or an officiant, you're running so much different stuff, that some stuff you've done before, some stuff you haven't. So if it's something I haven't, I got to do research, I got to study it, make sure we do it right. Sometimes people have wanted stuff done, certain aspects done in a different language, so. It's a lot. So I told her, yeah, I'm not a fan. And then I come in the car, because Ashlee had headed back to the car, and I said, oh yeah, she asked me to do 2 weddings a week for her or whatever. And you know, it's whatever, it's $1,000. So Ashlee was like, extra $4,000 a month. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you got to do that. I'm like, you? Like,
You
me?
do that.
I'm like, yeah, it's easy for you to say. I was like, I don't enjoy it.
Like,
and,
they're 25 minutes.
No, yeah, right. You're there 2 hours
30.
early. You do 4 to 5 phone calls ahead of time. You got to build a wedding script because everybody wants something different. Nobody wants the same thing. So
why'd you say the other wedding was the best wedding you've been to? Because of the location, the Sweet Pea one.
So it was.
Or a good wedding.
A good wedding, yeah. It was really cute, quaint, like very like away from noise. It was on a barn, super pretty, well put together,
and it wasn't expensive.
No,
the best wedding I've ever done was a $300,000 wedding at the Ritz. I mean, you know, in Laguna Niguel, in Orange County. I mean, that was the best wedding I've done. It was on the cliff,
beautiful,
gorgeous. Yeah, it cost somewhere around 300,000, something like that. 250, 300,000. Flower arrangements, everything. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. It was
very pretty.
Yeah, but again, like, would I recommend someone spend that even if you have it? No, probably not.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
so
probably
about
not,
that. So what would be some do's and don'ts that like people that are thinking about getting married or in the process of like, oh, you know, we are planning our wedding. Obviously, everybody has their own opinion, and you know, but in your guys' experience, seeing so many people that have been married, like, what are your like, hey, you know, flowers, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
What would you say?
So I've been marrying people probably for over 12 years, and so here's some things. I wouldn't say there's an order. You know,
no order.
Maybe at some point, you know, as I'm talking, I'll say this is really important. One of the first things that comes to the top of my head that if a couple is getting married, I would 100%, and I know you and I agree with this, Ashlee, 100% mandate a certain level of dress for everybody.
100%.
Make it mandatory on the invitation what you're asking everybody to wear.
No polos, no flip flops.
Yeah, no
Please.
shorts.
No shorts. No jeans.
No flannels.
Basketball.
You know, yeah.
You see people show up like that at a wedding?
100%. 100%.
I've seen it all.
More weddings than not.
Basketball shorts?
Basketball shorts.
Well, we've seen basketball shorts. Yeah, that's more of like that's more of like a family member that's like probably shouldn't have been invited, but they feel like they have to invite them. But overall, though, what I see with a lot of particularly men, I see a lot with men is they'll wear, you know, jeans. They'll wear some type of tattered T-shirt or polo, and they'll wear, you know, either boating shoes or Vans or, you know, Nikes or whatever, and so then you have half the room dressed nicely, half the room not. You know, sometimes I've seen, you know, women, they come in like, you know, jeans and like a T-shirt that doesn't, you know, it's not a dress or anything like that.
I always say take in consideration if you're ever going to a wedding and you know the person personally, and you know that wherever they may have put the location or not, majority of the time when a wedding is being spent, or when you're spending money on a wedding, you're paying per person. Like if you were to break it down per person, like because the plate is your plate of food, majority of the time can range between $20 to $350
a person
per person. So that's where a lot of people are like, I want a small wedding, I want a big wedding. That just depending on how much you want to pay per person. Because then you start to take in, what a lot of people do, which I don't agree with. I don't think you should ever charge somebody to go to an event.
Charge to go to your wedding?
Oh, we've heard it all.
What?
They would try to charge for their plate.
Well, I think it's a good idea in essence. Honestly, I've done enough weddings that, you know, it's a lot of couples are getting married. The way they're getting married is because of their family's expectations of what they expect. But a lot of the family isn't putting any sweat equity in it.
Right.
Mom and dad, the amount of weddings that I've done where I'm talking to a couple and they're like, oh, my mom and dad want us to do X, Y, and Z, or they want you know, I see this all the time. We're marrying a couple and then they say, hey, well, what should I do about this situation? I say, what situation? They say, well, my mom and dad came with me with a list of people they want invited to the wedding. And we'll say, oh, do you know those individuals? And they're like, no. They're like my dad's coworkers, or they're, you know, family members that I've never met in another country or whatever. And then I go, okay, great. so how much are your parents giving to the wedding? Oh, they're not giving anything. And I'd be like, wait. Like, no. Like, and I just always encourage couples, like, do what you feel comfortable with. If that's what you want to do for your parents or your family, that's great. But you really don't owe anyone anything unless you do feel like you owe someone something.
Absolutely.
Then do what you can for that family member or whatever. But to a certain degree, if you're not covering, and then there's been other weddings we've done where like my parents are paying for everything.
Yep.
Then I go, hey, then maybe. And my dad wants us to have this type of meal, but I don't want it. I'm like, maybe you should just take the stupid meal. Right. A lot of people aren't getting in the opportunity to have their whole wedding paid for. And so, you might have to give up a couple things to let your parents have some say. Now, is that the right thing? No, your parents, if they're going to cover it, just say, we're going to cover it, do what you want, have fun. But they don't, parents don't always think that way. So the average couple we're marrying is not getting money from their parents at all normally. So, but their parents also have a lot of say,
and so,
or trying to have a lot of say.
So when I was speaking about the dress code and all of that, I'm always in the mindset, if I'm ever invited to a wedding, there are two things. Dress the part, knowing you're going to a wedding, to respect a wedding guest. Dress up. It's a formal. It's a formal event. Unless it says something different, be formal at all times. Anytime you go to a wedding, look more expensive than the meal that you're about to eat.
Yeah.
And the other thing,
but that's why I say put it on the invitation, because we've done weddings. I've done weddings before where the theme is actually he's coming out very nice dressed. Cowboy.
Yeah.
So he's wearing a blazer.
Right.
He's wearing a really nice dress shirt under.
Mm-hmm.
He has a bolo tie. He's wearing a really nice cowboy hat. He's wearing really nice denim. So you would look stupid to wear a suit to it. So I wouldn't say dress formal. I would say put it in your invitation what it is that you're going for, but make it mandatory. Say this is black tie formal.
This is formal,
or this is a business formal. Please come in a suit. Please come.
We
suit
are
and dresses.
getting married on a beach. Please be mindful of heels and sandals. Yes.
Yeah, just on the invitation, the official invitation somewhere. Have the language of what we are doing cowboy formal. So then people are aware, but also you can kind of set an expectation of what you're asking people to wear. And if it's small enough, just send out text messages and just be like, hey, we'd appreciate it if we're going to have pictures and we want memories and all these things. And we just want everything, because you look at family pictures and then you have cousin so-and-so and so-and-so and they're wearing, Vans and shorts. And then you're just like it doesn't look well, nor to me is it respectful, but I was raised by very old school, both mostly old school black men is who raised me. And it was, you better, you dress to church, funerals, weddings, you wear whatever's the best in the closet is what you put. And if you don't have anything good in the closet, then you save and you get one good thing that you can hold on to that you can wear at everything, funeral, wedding, all of it, you know?
Yeah. And what about like plus one? Let's just get a little how did you guys do it with your plus one?
So I will tell you this. My sister was the only one, I would say, with the plus one. Everyone else had to be married.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not even engaged.
Not even.
Or maybe
if you were engaged,
engaged is fine.
Well, and the reason why we have nothing against those individuals, but we had to pay. You had to pay $55 a person. If I don't know you, I'm not paying $55. And the person would say, well, who would I dance with? Who would I have fun with?
You better find a friend.
Friends.
If you were single, you would do that. Like there's other single people or whatever. And it's not awkward. These are friends and family. So it's like, we're going to sit you with people that or that you'll get to know, that we know that you're going to find things in common. But if there's 10 people who we're expecting to come single, that they can all sit at a table, but then you want plus one, then that's $50 extra per person for 10 people. Right. When you're already looking at the average couple who's getting married, you are stretching every dollar you have. It's not like there's this excess, Now you want to offer $100 to allow your plus one to come,
Right.
Cash App it me right now, and you can bring your plus one. I'll make room.
Absolutely.
You know, like, but it's money. That's what it comes down to.
Well, and I think that's something that when we had gone into our wedding, that was something, not that you always are like, okay, we're going to get gifts for the house and we're going to get stuff like that, because we had a bridal shower and then you have the wedding. My whole thought process, my mom's side of the family is different. What they do is you have a bridal shower and you get everything you need for the house. Then my mom's family side is at a wedding, you bring a monetary gift. So you get double with my mom's side of the family. Like, that's just how we were raised. That's how I know. So I always told Adam, when we were early on in our marriage, we would get invited to weddings, and it would be the bridal shower and the wedding. And I would tell him, I'm not going, because if I can't bring a gift to this and the wedding, I am not going to look like, I can't afford your wedding, because it's disrespect. Because you're putting out money, you're paying for flowers, you're paying for a DJ, you could possibly be paying for an open bar, paying for appetizers, desserts, cookie, what? I do not want to look like a moocher at a wedding. Although I want to celebrate you, and someone would say, well, they want you there. Yes, but how, if they personally said, and I said, hey, it shouldn't be based on the gift, but it should be based on your humility enough to say, like, I would rather her save money than spend it on me, because I want to be able to love on this person more to give them a gift, and I just can't afford it right now. That's what I believe. The same thing as all these women saying yes to being a bachelorette party. If you ain't got a dime or a penny to your name, do not be a part of no bachelorette party that you cannot fund.
I know.
It's not. There's no point. Be humble enough to say, hey, this is something I just can't be a part of in this season of my life. Has nothing to do with you. Has nothing as disrespect for you. I absolutely love you. And if that person returns and says, I'm not worried about that. I just want you there in the room. You should be able to have that healthy dialogue with that person if you're truly that close enough to them to be in their wedding.
And everyone's age difference. If someone's getting married at 21, you can expect that a bachelorette party is going to be done relatively cheap and expensive, because everybody's young, everybody's going to be broke. There's probably going to be one older sibling or something that's going to probably kind of corral it and stuff. But then it's like, if people are getting married, 29, 30, 34, 35, and they got maybe more so in their career. If you get asked to be in their bachelor party, you got to expect that, it may cost you up to $1,000 to be a part of that. And you can't think that anyone's going to cover for you, or, I've heard people like, hey, this is the suit we're getting. And then someone's like, well, I can't afford it. Can I get a cheaper black suit? And it's like, well, no, you can't, so it's like there's, I mean, we've seen it all, and we've seen couples process with us about like, hey, how much should I be offended, or how much should I, care, or whatever, if it's a sibling, then okay, understandable. Once you start getting your friends to be part of the wedding, like, it's a responsibility of, that you should probably ask the bride or groom ahead of time, hey, tell me what you think it's going to look like. Are you guys doing a trip? Like, because we marry people in all different seasons of life. So it's like, we couldn't do it, but I had been asked to do a person's wedding in Italy. And for their bachelor and bachelorette party, they took a plane down to Mexico, and it was like a 5-day, private boats were involved, and everybody split differently. So that couple was older, so they covered a lot of it. But I mean, you're still talking about anyone who said yes to it and I wasn't going to be part of that stuff. I was just asked to do the wedding. But what I know from talking to the bachelor and bachelorette, I mean, it's like a 4 or 5 day thing that consisted of like restaurants and all, and they were definitely splitting all the restaurants and everything. So I mean, saying yes to that bachelorette party was like, I think it was like $4,000, $5,000 a person, because of what they were celebrating and doing. And so it's like, you got to be like, hey, no, sorry, I can't do it. Or so it's asking and understanding seasons. I mean, that most of the time it's done relatively cheap. I mean, we're in California, so you see a lot of people go to like Las Vegas, or they go to Cabo, but I mean, you're still talking $500, $600,
for sure. Between room and everything. And then what do you
but not
think
only
if
that, because
somebody-
you got to buy a dress.
Yeah, dress, suit.
I'm in a party
Yeah.
actually.
Makeup, hair.
And so I got to look at the dress, the shoes, because
Yep.
they were like, oh, well, I want them this specific type of shoe. Like,
Yep.
or the jewelry, like, let's do gold and whatever. So,
certain
it does add up.
hairstyles. So when we got married, the only thing I had, my sister was my bridesmaid or
I
my
was
maid
going
of
to
honor.
ask that.
Yeah.
What if you have zero? Like, you guys think that's bad or
Zero
like,
what?
zero bridesmaids?
Girl, what? That's
Like-
the best thing on the planet. Just go on a bachelor party
to
with
not have any.
But you
Well,
could have like a
zero
No,
friends
you have
is a red
friends.
flag.
No, that you have friends, but you don't like.
right, but you don't want them.
Mostly older people that get married in
It's
their
just
like
a maid of
40s
honor
and
and a best
50s.
man.
They don't do like bridesmaids and groomsmen
I
and stuff
can't
like
see.
that.
Yeah,
the
having
older they get,
6 bridesmaids
It's a lot. It's a lot, but it was. We had 7 or we had 6
each.
Yes, so we had 6 each.
Yeah, we got married in our 20s,
Yeah,
so your
so we had
friendship
6
circles are larger and all that stuff like that.
So
and,
like my sister
you know.
was my maid of honor. She picked out the bridesmaid's dress. I think it was like $230, alterations and stuff like that, changing. But like the day of, like I was that bride that I was like, I want peace and quiet. Like I hung out with my dad. I did, because a lot of the women, let's wake up and let's do this, and I'm just different. I'm like,
We'll still talk about do's and don'ts though. Sit more like in
the
do's and don'ts.
don'ts.
We've done an episode where we've talked about our actual wedding day before, where you've talked about your dad and all that. We've done
right.
that
So
one
I
before.
would just
Talk
say
more
do's and
about, like,
don'ts
do's
as
and
far as
don'ts.
like do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you're pressured into doing something with your girlfriends
Right.
just because that's just the normal thing to do.
Right.
If you want to be by yourself on your wedding day and get ready, have your girlfriends go by yourself. If you want a relaxed day and not feeling pressured, all I told that this was a thing that I thought was really great. I told them the time to be there. Get ready on your own, be there at that same time. That was something that I would do because you're not worried about every single person coming in, getting their
Having
makeup
a
done,
makeup
hair
artist,
done, all
yeah.
of that. So that was one thing where I was just like, that is something that I would do. Focus on yourself that day. Let everyone else worry about themselves, because if you have a room full of emotions, and although it's exciting getting ready, those are things that I would do. Is
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
get ready on your own.
Yeah.
But as far as like having a certain amount of bridesmaids, it's really focusing on how you want your day to look.
Yeah.
Do you want an X amount of pictures of all your bridesmaids? And understand, I think if you get married later, having those mature conversations and relationships to say, you know what, I'm mature enough to know, like, I want this many people in my wedding, or I
Yeah.
don't.
Right.
Even though
Yeah.
we're close, it's not necessary. I don't think you should
Well,
be
and the more
focused on
the
who
more
you're going
people
to
you
hurt and who
get,
you're not.
Yeah.
the more people you get, the more personalities you get.
Yeah.
So we always talk to people that, like, as they get bigger, bridesmaids and groomsmen's, you're inviting more personalities in the mix. So you are inviting potentially more drama. You know,
Yeah.
3 or 4 people, it's like, okay, that tends to be pretty, you know, easy to handle. But we know it. We've been around those girls that are like, they're tough to be around. And we've
Yeah.
been around those guys that talk to people disrespectfully, or just that. And the wider your groomsmen get, the more potential conflict with each other, conflict going towards the event. Women, bridesmaids, same thing. So it's just, you know, people always try to hack. Well, I can have 10 bridesmaids and have no drama. It's like, well, you're just, with that many personalities, you're inviting that much chaos.
Right.
So just
And-
get ready. You know, there's going to be a sister-in-law or your best friend from high school or whatever, and that, you know, it just isn't, you know, probably the nicest person or isn't the most polite person that it may be. You know, there may be some conflict there. And so it's just certain things people should be mindful of going into the wedding, to just, they think that, oh, because it's our wedding, people are going to respect us and just respect that it's our time. They won't. You know, many people won't, you know, and so just be mindful. And then I would say also, you know, be mindful of what you want out of your wedding, and so then invest in that area. So we've had people that are like, we want a lot of time for people to dance, and it's like, well, who's your DJ? And it's like, well, my friend has this cousin and he's going to cut us a deal. And I'm like, well, I'll tell you right now, probably people aren't going to dance. If you're not investing in a DJ that's really good, because he still needs to MC the moment, he still has to be able to read the crowd, you know, cousin so-and-so who's never been a wedding DJ. I get it. He DJs bars, But weddings and bars are two totally different things. Bars, people are already drunk by the time the DJ starts. Weddings, you're dealing with formal music. You're getting things started. So it's like, if that's important to you, invest in what's important to you. If Instagram aesthetics are important to you, then invest in flowers and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Don't build your itinerary because that's what you're supposed to do for weddings. Like, if you don't want people to dance and you just want good music, do that and spend more money on a better photographer or better food or what. You don't have to like, oh, this is what they say. Dancing should be this amount of time. This should be this amount of time. Like, you know, like if you want to pay for an open bar, then bring, you know, a taco man in that's cheaper. Like, don't be afraid to like
adjust.
Whatever's important to you, build it financially on what's important to you rather than trying to sit with a wedding venue and then be like, well, this is what people do. And it's like, well, that's fine, but not everybody wants the same things.
Yeah.
You know,
the
other end.
Do you guys think it's worth like inviting that uncle or, you know, some family member or friend, or maybe not friend, but that like expects to be there, but you don't necessarily have a relationship with them? But then if you don't invite him, there's going to be drama with the family. So it's like, what do you do? Like,
Christmas is going to be weird or Thanksgiving is going to be weird.
You know, but it's like, should you invite that uncle to avoid the drama? And you got to pay for him. Though,
right. I mean,
did you guys have to deal with that? Like,
you know, my mom has a huge family. So my mom's one of 11. And so I invited I pretty much invited my whole mom's side of the family, which was a lot of people.
But they had to fly out from California, which made it easier to kind of filter people.
Yeah, so they flew from Chicago to California. But, you know, that's the hard part because we got married young. And when you get married young, you try to people please everybody. So I don't want so-and-so being mad at me in this way. I don't want so. Yeah. But later in life now, I realize.
Or if you get married young, you still have your parents are still very vocal in your life.
Absolutely.
If you're a little older, you know, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think now looking back, obviously, if Adam and I would have gotten married now, and let's just say we got married now, if you ain't called me in the last month or wished me happy birthday, you ain't getting invited. If you didn't ask how was your labor delivery or checked in on Matthias or how are your kids doing, like I get some of my cousins still to this day that will check in on me and I'm like, yeah, those y'all some real ones. But we're not close, but you care I'm alive.
Yeah.
If you don't care that I'm alive. You only care to be invited because you want it to look good or you post it on your Facebook. I'm not here to spend that money for you to feel good about yourself.
Right.
So I don't think, I personally don't, we've gotten to this mature age. It's hard to see hindsight as far as like, who's going to be in my life after this marriage?
Yeah.
And that's what you should be thinking.
Yeah.
Who really cares about me and who's going to care about me after this wedding?
And a lot of moms, uncles, aunts, a lot of times, us doing weddings, we realize they don't actually care about who you're marrying. They just are treating it as a family reunion. It's a perfect excuse to get the family together. Yeah. And that's why they're mad. That's why they want uncle to be invited. That's why they want so-and-so to be invited, because they're saying, well, the family's got to be together.
Yeah.
It's, it's a mini family reunion. Yeah. And then to you, you're like, can my uncle even name who I'm marrying? No. Right. But who cares? It's a family reunion,
Be fun.
Yeah. And to me, we have told couples, go to your parents and say, you want to put some skin in the game? we can get whoever. I will give you the bill for how much it costs to get those 30 family members in.
Yeah.
If you are willing to pay for that. And we've had couples come back and say, oh, her parents agreed they're going to pay for all the food for everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Invite
whoever
the list,
the neighbors.
We've encouraged hey, go to your parents and if this is the way you feel, speak on what you need for it, and then put the ball in their court. And it's there's friction and it creates tough conversations and. Sometimes we've had them before and they don't go well. Other times couples have come back and it worked out. We're going to, or they talk to Uncle so-and-so and, he's mad, but he understands. We've seen all those scenarios. But what we always encourage is the couple to be authentic to how they feel and it's their wedding, it's their memories. everybody, everybody's going to remember whatever the highlight was. It's like, you're going to remember your wedding, so it means something to you. It's an event to other people, to you and a few key people, it's going to be something that celebrates. Even when it comes to, we often see people that ask best man, bridesmaid, 5 years down the line, many of them aren't even in those individuals' lives anymore. And so, even tap dancing around a bridesmaid or like a group, like to me, my always recommendation is, if it's not a direct sibling that you feel like you have to pick, but it's like, pick the aunt or uncle that's got money and ask them to be a bridesmaid because they're gonna make sure you have fun. They're gonna make sure you're taken care of.
A young girl asked both her aunts to be in her wedding and be bridesmaids, and they were older. They were older. They were obviously her mom's sister, and she asked them to be in the wedding. I was like, "Girl, you smart. You are so smart." Because then they'll be like, "What do you need, honey? I'll help you with that. You need help with this? You need help with your veil, your wedding dress, your hair, makeup, bachelorette party? You need help with that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I've also seen that's controversial is like people saying in the invitation, no children at weddings. Like,
never let no kids in no wedding.
We had the kids at our wedding to walk down.
Yeah.
And then my niece danced with my dad the first time, and then
but just
she left.
Immediate family,
immediate
not
family.
kids.
Oh, absolutely.
No, nobody can bring their kids.
Friends bringing
absolutely
kids.
not. For what? What they gonna do? Scream the whole time?
Yeah,
no, get a sitter.
They do not care. They have no idea what's going on. They just know a good way to ruin a moment.
And drop the kids.
Yeah, literally, it was our nieces and nephews were there at the ceremony, and then at the reception, they I think their grandma on the other side came and got them and took them home.
What about do you guys think it's tacky to ask for money for your wedding?
No, monetary gifts. No, monetary gifts.
Yeah, you put it on the invitation. Monetary gifts appreciated.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a lot of people are doing now too is put money towards. I would just rather say monetary gifts at the wedding, and what it's or for. Just say, because they'll say gifts and they'll send a tab of, or if you want to give to the honeymoon, and you could do that too. But I like just the monetary gift.
Okay.
Because what that the dial don't go up. on the honeymoon.
Yeah.
I mean, or honestly, I don't think there's any real. I mean, there are some things that are inappropriate, but it's like I would build a registry of bigger items that you may need, because some people may be like, I want to get them something real for their home, right?
Yeah.
Or I would, but I wouldn't I've gone on people's wedding registries and they'll have like a bowl set from Target that's like, $20, and I'm like,
$40.
Yeah, and
so,
I'm like, I wouldn't
you add?
recommend
What's
that.
inappropriate to have on your wedding registry? Like, okay, that's too much. Like $500 for a grill set or whatever.
No, I mean we had the $300 or $400 vacuum.
We had the Dyson.
Yeah.
So we did our wedding shower, and so what's I don't know if it's as common or uncommon. So tell me what I thought was to do, which, because that's all our family knew, was to have a wedding shower, and knowing you're going to get gifts at the wedding or wedding shower, and then you're still going to get monetary gifts at the wedding.
Yeah.
But there's still a culture of where if I brought you a gift to your wedding shower, that's your gift for your wedding. So know that you may not be getting nothing at your wedding if you have a wedding shower.
Right.
Because the person thinking those $40 bowls I bought you when my family is 6 is going to cover the 6 plates that they're going to eat at that wedding. And that's not the case.
Yeah.
So understand your grouping and how you want it. If you don't need a wedding shower, or I know they do bridal showers where it's just the intimate garments and all of that, then keep it that with just women. Yeah. But because we were moving into a home, we needed everything. And the last thing, too, we wanted was all of that on our wedding day.
Yeah.
Boxes and boxes and boxes and unwrapping and all of that. So we got that day to be able to put in his house. And then we went from there. Yeah, but when it comes to getting married, I think you really have to have a conversation, because I want to ask you about this, because you had made mention if the parents are paying for the wedding. And I just had a conversation with someone about this and just kind of giving them guidance on it. She said, my parents are paying for the wedding and they want to be involved. But me and my fiance feel like this is our time to plan our wedding. But my parents are feeling like they want to be in kind of every little detail. When my fiance he's saying that, but this is between us. But I'm looking, and I looked at her and I said, and your parents are paying for the whole thing? She said, yes. I said, you ain't got no choice. And your husband has no choice. I'm so sorry. Or your fiance has no choice.
Yeah, what I would say is you have to be prepared to say that you're going to pay for it yourself.
Yeah.
So you gotta sit with your parents. You gotta say, hey, here's the deal. I would like to sit with you guys ahead of time and discover maybe what's important to you guys on you're paying for the wedding. And I want to know, is like a certain musician important for you? Like, is having no alcohol or an open bar important for you? And then from there, you know, me and my fiance, we're going to go plan our wedding. We want to do this together in the same way. One day we're going to have children and we're going to, you know, have a baby and a baby shower. I'm not going to come to you. We're not raising the child. Me and my husband are raising the child. So therefore, this is a memory we want together. If that is a deal breaker for you, then we are prepared to change our wedding and deal with it financially ourselves. And we won't need your help anymore. And yeah, it's not ideal. It's not what we want. But I would encourage couples to say, do what you want to do, while also creating clear boundaries, but also recognizing that you got to be mature enough to say, and you may not support that, and support us, and we're prepared to do it our own. You know, you and I, we sat with a couple before that the parents weren't a fan of the catering option they were going with. And I said, go back to your parents and say, you either pay the caterer yourself and we'll do it your way, or be quiet.
Right.
And they went back and their parents said, yeah, we'll pay the caterer. We'll pay the whole thing. I said, okay.
Yeah.
And then and then I think they still decided to go with their route.
Yeah.
Oh
and then it became a not a conflict whole thing, but it became a thing for the parents to realize, like, hey, when we go in this marriage is it's not a us, it's it's a them in terms of the couple. So
and like as Christians, like I've seen this a lot where at their wedding they'll have communion. Like, do you think anybody as a Christian should feel guilty if they don't have communion at their? Like,
isn't a Christian? No, I mean I don't.
No,
think,
that they are.
They are.
Like, as Christian,
when I marry couples, it is probably the one thing I recommend as kind of a non-negotiable. I'm not going to force you to do it.
Right.
But I
like take the bread and the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, every
It's
couple.
a real glass of wine.
Yeah. Every couple I marry
Changes things.
I'll have 2 communions.
Yeah. Yeah, every couple I always say, hey, do whatever you want. I'm going to send you some stuff on sacraments and this and that. And, you know, your culture may have sacraments. And then I say the only thing I highly recommend that of all the years I've found is the most special is communion. You as a Christian, you should do communion with your spouse
On your wedding day.
And what I do is they need to do it by themselves. So I'll announce to everybody there. I'll say at this time, you know, so and so has decided that they want to partake in communion as husband and wife for the first time. They're going to be doing it privately. So if you're a person of faith, would you just have a moment of silence and pray for their marriage while they do this? If you're not a person of faith, you know, I would just pray, you know, give them well wishes during this time. But they're going to step aside and they're going to have a moment together. And then it's silently, there's like music in the background. The DJ puts music. And then the husband and wife go to their, wherever it is. It may be behind me, next to me, in front of me. And then I step aside and then I tell the husband, this is the point where you put, you know, an anchor in the sand that you're going to cover your wife and lead this household. So I'm going to ask that you lead your wife in communion. You give her the bread, you give her the cup, and then you pray over your marriage as the head of the house, and then we'll come back together. And so I don't say, oh, take turns. I say, as the man, this is the moment. Christ leads his church, you lead your household. Yeah, and for a lot of men, it's like the first time they've prayed in front of their wife. For a lot of them, not all of them, but. And then I say, hey, you don't have to do any of this, but I'll tell you this: it's sacred and it's special, and your wedding is more than just a day of celebrating your love. It's a vow, and so probably 9 times out of 10 couples go, okay, if you think it's important, we'll do it. You know, it's surprisingly not a lot of couples sit with us and did a bunch of research. They don't come and be like,
they don't know anything.
This is what we want to do. They go like, yeah, whatever you recommend, we'll do it. And then they'll come with their problems. Like, so since our last session, we like talked to my parents and they want, you know, Bob, is that weird? Should we do that?
They want to do the rope. And we're like, what? Where'd that come from?
Yeah. Some people have some, like, what about if you want to bring like cultural traditions, like jumping the broom or like, is that like,
you know, for me, as long as it doesn't have some type of, like pagan rooting or like
cutting
you know,
blood and like
sacrifice, right?
Yeah, as long as it's not
Twilight.
As long as it's not rooted in some type of like demonic cultural thing or pagan type of thing, then I'll learn it. I'm all for it, you know. Okay. So, but some officiants may say, no, I don't do that. Yeah, and you got to be okay with that. Like, not every officiant
is going to be
wants
lenient.
to play ball. Yeah, they'll be like, hey, here's the 3 sacraments I know. I can do the rope, I could do the sand, or I could do communion, or I can't do any of them if they're a non-religious officiant. You know, and you got to be ready. You know, or you know, sometimes people get married in the Catholic Church or whatever, and you got to do it the way the priests tell you have to do it.
Yeah.
So,
and what about like your vows? Like, do you advise like, you know,
never write your vows.
Never
write your vows?
No.
What if you're a poet?
Yeah, he was, and I wasn't.
But the other spouse may not.
Right, so you got to outshine me.
Yeah. It's very rare that I've married 2 couples where they're both extroverts and they're both very good with their words.
There was one.
Very rare.
There was one that we were at, and my goodness, that was the first and last time I need to hear someone do their vows. Anytime, I don't even care if he says it. He's like, "Are you guys doing your own vows?" I go, "Don't, please don't, please don't ever do it." This person,
what?
They were like, "You get on my nerves, but I love you anyways," and I was like, "What?"
Well, the husband,
that's not a vow.
The husband's like, you know, like,
he was very
death
prophetic,
to us part, I will die for you. Ever since I saw you, your dream come true, and blah blah blah. And then the wife goes and it's like, you know, you bug me, but you know, I'd be alone without you or whatever. It was like, it was romantic. It was rough. It was rough.
Rough.
Hers was rough. His was romantic. Hers was like, I put up with you.
Oh gosh.
You know, even though you annoy me, you know, I'll still deal with you. And everybody there.
We didn't meet on the best terms, and I'm like, girl, what is you right? Girl, this isn't a blog. I'm supposed to vow to. I vow to be a good wife. I vow to be loving. I vow to be kind. That's not. You're not supposed to be dragging him in the dirt as your vows.
Yeah. Or the person will go, and then the other person in front of everyone will go, "Oh, I'm nervous now. Mine isn't that good as yours." You know, like then they fall apart because they're like, "I didn't expect you to like be so eloquent in sharing your vows."
So then, what do? You just give them traditional like. Here,
there's wedding vows.
No,
they
repeat
it. They repeat it.
They're repeating after you is the vows. Yes.
The to death do us part stuff, and I do, I will. That's
and
the vows.
And you say it, and they just repeat it.
Easy.
Correct.
Easy.
And then I say,
we haven't gone to as many weddings as I thought.
I say, if you want to do vows, I recommend that you guys write them and give them to each other before the ceremony, like while you're getting ready. Make your vows private.
Yeah.
There's other times they say, no, we want to do it. And I say, okay. And they do it. But most of the time they don't, they're not good, you know? And so I just tell couples, I've done this long enough. Written vows don't tend to be good. And is your DJ prepared for that? Do they have a microphone? Because most DJs only give a microphone to the officiant. And most of the time it's a lapel. So then I go, now you're passing off vows and no one can hear it. You know, and so there's a lot of stuff you got to think through.
Speak loud.
That they'll be like, oh, no, my DJ can't do that. Then I'm like, okay, well, then you guys will be the only ones hearing the vows.
And everybody just sitting there like.
You got 150 people. The person in the back can't hear it. So there's a lot of stuff you have to think through the moment you want as a couple to like speak and people to hear them. And I'm like, that's what the reception's for, is for you to get the mic and, you know, say whatever you want to say and do whatever you want to do and stuff like that. But think through those things. So every once in a while, both couples have done vows. But when you talk to them, you go, oh, they're both very eloquent. They're both very outgoing. So these vows will be fine. Like, but I always tell people, like, you're going to, if one isn't a confident communicator, they're going to get really insecure over their vows, and they're going to get really, weddings alone are already nerve-wracking, let alone like falling apart in your vows, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and you made a great point too. Those that I would say that is your best man or maid of honor, please have a conversation with them to make sure that they write down what they're going to say. Speech. And I would keep it to 2 at a time, either your maid of honor and your best man, or the father of the bride and the father of the groom. Those are 4 people that need to speak. I don't need to hear from your auntie, your mother. I don't. Those.
It's not an open
It's not an
floor.
open mic.
Gosh.
We've been to weddings where literally 15 people have spoken, and you're just there, and you're just like,
I didn't write anything down. You should have, sir.
Oh my
That was
goodness.
crazy. I don't even think you knew what you were
I
going to say.
mean, we've literally heard speeches like, "I know I cheated on your mother, and
yes.
I know your upbringing wasn't the best, but
yes.
you know, I'm so proud of how you've grown." Like, and you're there, and you're like, "This should have been written down."
Well, because you got to think, depending on certain weddings you go to, some weddings have open bar. Well, the open bar is during the what is it called? Cocktail hour.
While everybody's taking
While
photos.
everyone's taking photos and everything, like the bride and groom are taking photos, so everyone's drinking. So then you get a little liquor courage, and people go up and like, "Oh, I had something written down." I'm like, "No, go pick that up. Go pick that up."
Yeah. Okay.
Or a lot of people are like, "I'm a good talker. I can wing it," and you're like, "No, because then what they share isn't thoughtful."
No.
And even the couple gets robbed of authentic thoughts and feelings that should
have been on paper.
The moment like that, the best man and maid of honor. Like the point of the speech is not just to share like a funny situation or story.
Yeah.
But it's also to uplift the moment, you know, for the couple, to encourage the couple in their wedding. And so it's not a time for you to share about like, you know, your own insecurities or to try to embarrass the bridesmaid and groomsmen. Like it's not a roast, you know. You can add something humorous, but like you're not there to roast someone, belittle someone. You're not there to share, you know, the elephant in the room that of a breakup or you know, like, you know, ever since he lost his first girlfriend, he was a mess, and then he met you. Like, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to throw that first girlfriend in there, you know? So like all that is important to keep in mind. Make it funny, add humor, you know, people on opposite sides of the family don't know Joe, and the other side, they don't know Mary. So, you know, give something about their personality and who they are, but also uplift their character at the same time, because you're showing the other family who doesn't know this person that's coming into their family, it's an opportunity to say, hey, this is who this person is. And so when you're just talking about their trash from when they were in college, you know, like that's not what the speech is there to be for. It's to talk about that person's, you know, like, hey, when my mom got sick, you checked on me every day. That's the type of person you are, and I know that's the type of person you're going to be for blank.
We never thought he'd be tied down until he saw you. He was a woman. You're like, what?
Oh
Yeah.
Okay, what about this? What about I know we're kind of ending, but what about prenups? Like, is that like, it doesn't say in the Bible don't get one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't got assets, so I don't really, it ain't for me. But talking to the wealthy people out there,
I think in extreme cases it's necessary. I think it's
because it has a negative connotation, because it's like, oh, you're gonna offer me one? You think I'm just marrying you for your money?
Yeah, you're assuming a divorce and yada, which is true. They're not the healthiest, but you know, I think if it's like a family business tied to it, because it doesn't just include that person. If there's a lot of people that you know, because a lot of times what will happen is, let's just say, in extreme wealth, and that person comes with extreme wealth in the relationship. Well, if they get a divorce and he has to split the business, well, you know, people are getting let go now. People, you know, families are changing just because this couple didn't make it. Because the wife may say, I want my shares liquidated. I want to cash out. I don't want this business invested in. So now he's selling half of his business or selling all of his business or whatever. So I do think prenups, you know, are wise if it's connected to, you know, those type of exterior things where it's like people count on that relationship to work in order to get food. Then that's probably best to protect. But also, you know, you also have to recognize at the same time that let's be honest. Most the people who sign the prenup are the women, and so that it's geared towards. So also, you have to value that, like, she potentially is going to be saying no to a lot of stuff in order to start a family for you and raise children.
Yeah.
Most people who have prenups, the wife is going to probably be a stay-at-home mother because she doesn't need to work. He's wealthy, and so she is going to be giving up a lot of stuff in order to, like, raise your children and raise your family. And so there's a value asset add that's not connected to her pursuing her own income dreams. So I think prenup should go both ways. I think if a girl's going to sign a prenup, it should say, but also I would like attached to it that if I have a certain amount of kids, or if I had that, then there is a certain percentage that, because I want to also add, if I'm going to change my life for this. So prenup should go, but, and you don't want to negotiate a preconceived divorce, but at the same time, if there is that much money tied to it, then it should be really thought out with wisdom and with lawyers. Like, if you're the person receiving the prenup, you should get your own lawyer. Don't be like, oh, they just, more than likely that person, more than likely the man, he didn't write it, a lawyer wrote it. So you should have a lawyer that reads it for you and makes suggestions based off of, like, I had heard of an individual's, it went like viral, like, a guy said in order for her to be qualify for a certain amount of money if they get divorced in the prenup, her body weight had to be at a certain low end because he didn't want his kids to have like a heavy set mom.
No.
And so she actually had to maintain her body weight down
crazy.
to get, and it was in the prenup because he didn't even want his ex-wife to not have. Well, you can, but technically it's wrong, but it's a contract offered to her that she doesn't have to sign it.
Right,
and so she did whatever 20 years ago, and they were actually getting a divorce. It went like viral online or something like that. And they were getting a divorce, and in it was, in order to qualify for, a certain amount of money post prenup. Yeah. Her weight had to be at a certain low end, and she agreed to it. That's 20 crazy. Years prior or whatever it was. Yeah. Right. And so there are silly prenups, but, and I think they're very rare cases.
Oh,
but,
yeah, they're rare for sure.
I think they happen more than not, but I don't think it's cause for
and it's only for wealthy people, right? Because what are you going to, like?
That tends to, it's not only for, but that tends to be what is, but like a person may not be wealthy, but they have a trust. So like a family could have a trust, which grants the person they're marrying access to the trust relationally. So like their parents may be wealthy. They may be broke as heck, but the parents are saying, hey, before you marry her, like when we die 40 years from now, there's we have 15 properties and they're all going to go amongst you guys. Like, we want a prenup signed, and if you don't, we'll write you out of the trust. So there is stuff like that happens.
Special cases.
That is really weighty, that takes a lot of, if you're a Christian, it would take a lot of prayer and counsel and all that stuff. But
okay, last question.
Yeah.
Do you think every couple that gets married should go on a honeymoon afterwards? It could be local, or you could be like, oh, just wait 4 years.
I would say invest more in a honeymoon than you do a wedding.
Ooh, okay.
I think that, at the end of the day, yes, you have the celebration with everyone, but that's a day. Yeah. You're starting a new life with your spouse. Why not enjoy some time away from the pressure of planning the wedding, the pressures of family, the pressures of being there, because in reality, although you have a wedding planner, you still feel like you're hosting. Like Adam and I were pulled left and eat. We ate, but then when we came in, we were like,
barely.
What's going on? Because you go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, then you go around the tables.
Thank everyone for coming.
Thank you for coming. You go do this. You go take pictures with people. You're pulled left and right. You dance for 20 minutes and you get pulled off for somebody else. Grandma so-and-so wants to talk to you. Da-da-da-da. So
and then the wedding's over, and then you're packing the car up and you're
packing all the
getting luggage and so then that evening's not even over.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I personally think that it's important for more than a wedding to go away on a honeymoon, because I think that even if you're, as far as even in a Christian relationship, and let's just say you've been abstinent this whole time, trying to make it to the wedding day, wedding night happens, now just go away and have some peace before reality sets place and you're now living together, waking up, obviously, house, car, new routine, work, all of it. It gives it a little break before reality sets in. Yeah. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, we can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. I would dumb down a wedding to have a better honeymoon.
Nice. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Honeymoons are good. Do them within the first 6 months. Everybody's work is different. Yeah. So they may say, oh, we're getting married and then she needs to finish school, or I won't get a good amount of time off for another, couple months or whatever, which is fine. But definitely one of our first questions we ask for people is like, what are you guys doing for your honeymoon? Like, right. Because we want to encourage, go celebrate, have fun. And, if you have enough money to put on a wedding, you have enough money to go to figure out a honeymoon for sure. Because people we married that were broke, they're not having weddings. They're getting married in backyards. They're going to courthouse. Yep. So those are the ones I understand that are like, we can't afford a honeymoon. We're just going to
San Diego.
But anyone who's choosing a venue and having a caterer and flowers and all that, it's like, you will definitely benefit from the memories of a honeymoon. Than you will. The wedding is a blur. Most people we marry, they don't even remember the wedding because there's just so much nerves and so much going on. They'll look at pictures and be like, I don't even remember that. I don't even remember this. I don't even remember that. Oh, wow. So memory's sake, it's a fog, know? And so it's, you're doing it for like pictures and other stuff like that, but the day itself is just a blur. And so, but a honeymoon isn't, even if it's 4 or 5 days, right. you can figure it out, for sure, I think. But yeah.
Cool. This was good.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, everybody. All right, hope if whether you're in a season where you're going to have children, one day and you need some tips that, about your stuff or you're engaged or whatever it is. Hope this conversation benefited.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.